What is the best computer for a cybersecurity freelancer? I hate this question. I'll be honest with you, I absolutely hate this question because the computer doesn't matter. That's really it. The computer itself doesn't matter. It's the tools and the hardware that you use in between, and the type of working environment you want to create for yourself is what actually matters. So let me explain. Having different hardware tools at your disposal is what's actually going to help you to do the job each and every day. For example, I have that D-Auth watch. I haven't got it with me here. It's back in Australia, but it's a cool watch. It helps me de-auth and create a rogue network for Wi-Fi for when I'm doing Wi-Fi pen testing. Also having like an alpha card connected up to a device is quite useful as well. At the moment, I am building out a Samsung Galaxy flip phone into a NetHunter device, so I can use that while I'm out and about as well, because I think that would be a nice small device to help me get through the day-to-day of doing different types of pen testing work from a very mobile device, literally a mobile device. Aside from that, I honestly use an iPad for a lot of the work that I do. Now keep in mind, a lot of the work that I do at this point is mostly talking to customers, so lots of Teams and Zoom meetings, doing different types of documentation, which again, I do on a cloud machine that's connected to my iPad. The cloud machine that I use is, I have two. I have one on a Tailscale network, which is just a computer back in Australia that helps me bypass lots of different internet restrictions of different countries that I work from. The other one is an AWS machine that I have usually turned off, and it just sits there also on Tailscale that I can connect into and use as a remote desktop. I actually have a third one, but I don't really use it because it's kind of expensive, but it is a Windows 365 PC that I can connect into. What you really need to decide though is what kind of working environment do you want to work from? Do you want to do the similar thing to me where you're working from like a public place, somewhere where you're connecting to your own internet connection, because obviously public Wi-Fi is trash and not secure, and to have that mobility, to be able to connect to the same environment from anywhere with long battery life. If I use the iPad Pro, it's got a long battery life. I can use it for an entire day and then probably the next day for the entire day without charging it. Not even once. It also has a pen, which is kind of fun for drawing when I get bored of doing stuff. So there is that. That device is also really easy to take on flights. You just put it in your carry-on. You can have it on your flight. Battery open, download some movies. You know, you got something to play with while you're on a flight. And yeah, I mean, for me, I'm super mobile. So I get out and about every single day pretty much. I go to a lot of different places, either flying or getting on a boat or taking a very long distance train ride, and having that mobility and battery life is something that's quite important to me. Also, the entertainment side of an iPad is quite fun. So yeah, for me, it's a good device. It's not for everyone though. A lot of people that I know prefer to use like a laptop without a touchscreen or anything like that. They don't want anything crazy. They just want a device that's going to work for them, that has all of their tools on it locally. And I can totally understand that. I used to work like that myself. Some people prefer a desktop PC with a big old graphics card in there so they can run some hashcats that are going to decrypt different types of encryption keys while they're there. I don't like to do that. I prefer to throw that stuff into a cloud and let it run in the background. I don't want to rely on the battery life of a laptop or the immobility of a desktop PC. So for me, this type of environment makes sense. And that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make here, is that it's each to their own. You don't really have to choose one way to do anything. You could use a desktop, a laptop, and an iPad if you really want, as well as a bunch of other tools like some Wi-Fi hacking tools. You could have like a full-blown pen testing laptop that you just use for pen testing. You could do that and just have that to come around with you wherever you go, and then use another computer to do some of the other work on, so you're not using a pen testing like a Kali Linux box as your daily driver, which is a terrible idea for anyone who's ever thinking of doing that. It's not designed to be like that, so don't do it like that. The reason I've made this video in the first place is because I get a lot of people, usually from one particular country, asking me what is the best laptop for a hacker. And I've given some pretty interesting answers in the past, like just use a Raspberry Pi, and they're like, oh, that's a shit device. Yeah, but it works. You don't need to use anything fancy. That's the point. You can use anything to do pen testing. You can do anything in cybersecurity with any type of device. If your heart wills it, you can make it happen. And that's really the point. You don't need the new bells and whistles of devices. It's up to you, your budget, and your use case. Well, how do you want to use that device? Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful to you. If there's any questions that you have, throw them in the chat and I'll answer them as best I can. I have lots of different devices around that I use. So if you have questions about Raspberry Pis or de-authoring watches or my laptop or my iPad or whatever, I have so many different bloody devices here that I don't even use. I usually use my camera here, my cool microphone on a stick, and my iPad. That's the main set of devices that I use, apart from my phone, which is in my pocket. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Happy hacking and have a great day. Peace out.